this time.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. So, ladies, hey, look, there it is.
Told you.
Okay, cool. All right,
Bam.
so it's up. It's up. Everybody can. Hey, look, they can see us better now in this one. It's much better than it was before.
Cool.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the Raj and Rich Show.
I'm Raj.
And I'm Rich.
Your wishes.
I do, because I wouldn't be here. I'd be on a Caribbean island.
No, you would have your own, like, 400-room castle hotel.
Well, that too, but I would still be, like, constantly going to the Caribbean island. Because
You're taking me with you, right?
No, because you don't look. I don't think you would look hot in a bikini.
But I could be your personal chef.
Well, okay, there you go. So, okay, so then you get to go. So anyway,
even though the cooking is shit, but it's all good.
Good God, man!
Shut
Does
up.
everything
Shut
about
up.
you got to be fucking negative about yourself?
It wouldn't be true if it wasn't.
It's not true. That's the problem.
Anyways, moving right along.
Yes, moving right along, ladies and gentlemen. Hello there on Facebook Live. For those of you that don't know what's going on, we have the Raj and Rich Show on YouTube. We try to do it every Sunday. Unfortunately, we didn't get back from our trip, our Southern Texas CK tour,
Until about 10:30 at night.
10:30 at night, and we were so damn tired. There was no way we were doing it. And then yesterday,
you didn't get home till about 10.
I got fucked over at work pretty bad.
And you were sick.
And I came home with like the worst sinus sickness I've ever had in my life. Like my face felt like it wanted to explode. I kept sneezing. It got so bad I used every like Burger King napkin I had in my truck because I had a stockpile of them.
Oh, Jesus.
And I ended up using my window cleaner wipes because I ran out. I had to buy some tissues at the gas station. So yeah, that happened. But anyway, for those of you that watching live on Facebook, if you check out my Facebook page, you'll see a little notice there about us being on YouTube, and you can click on that, and you can go over and you can see us over here, because we only leave the Facebook page live page up for the first couple stories, and then it goes down. You got to be over at YouTube.
And then also when you go into YouTube, you can go ahead and join in our live chat, which will actually respond while the show goes on.
Yeah, because I only glance down slightly to let you know that I know that you guys are there, but I don't really read your comments on the Facebook live feed. So if you go to YouTube and click there, and don't forget to subscribe too, because we'll tell you later on in the show that you could win something very, very nice. But anyway, so we went, there's bacon.
There's bacon.
Everything's better with bacon.
Yes.
So we went on a South CK tour.
Yes.
Started with Relic Quest on Saturday.
At Eclipse in Beeville.
And that's one of the funnest Relic Quests I've been to in a long, long, long time.
I will say that it was very well put together. Like, we even had costumes out there with an actual, like, moving mouth. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they did a great job with it. They really did. And you know what? People were having fun. They were constantly moving, constantly going, which is good.
There was no lull in anything whatsoever. It was just constant.
I will say that His Majesty, the best archery shot of the day, hit all 4 targets with 1 arrow. He is the king, and he's just that good. Okay, so he hit all 4 targets with 1 arrow. Absolutely awesome. We had relics that were given out, and congratulations to the people who earned a relic. You guys definitely did good. There was some good fighting going on. The only thing that I didn't like about it was when I got thrown out on the field to be part of the Wolf Clan. I was not made aware that I was, well, I was kind of told I was a human, but nobody told me I was a one and done human.
Oh, you're fragile.
Yeah, they didn't tell me that. Well, not fragile. I could take hits. Oh,
but you only had 1 life.
But I only had 1 life, and there was no respawn for me. If I'd have known that, I'd have been a little more battlefield aware of the archery, because there was some archers out there, and I can say that there was some good archers out there too. You know, so I mean, but like I said, all in all though, I had a really great time at Eclipse. Never been to that park a day in my life.
And then we got to sleep in a castle.
We got to sleep in a castle, which was awesome. Let me tell you. And we thought that we were being fucked with on the way down.
By the way, thank you, Stabity, Derek, and Mayhem Greenleaf for opening up your house to myself, this guy, and the and his daughter, and my dog.
Yep. We did. We seriously thought that the was fucking with us.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you know, they live in a castle, and we're like, yeah, whatever. You know, we're riding the whole way, and then we turn into the woods and get to this fence. I'm like, this is where we die. We're gonna get taken out and fucking.
And then we drive a little ways up the road, well, up the driveway, and sure enough, there's a fucking castle.
They built their house. Their house is a fucking castle. They built a castle. It's not like it looks like a castle on the outside.
It looks like a castle on the inside.
It looks like a castle on the inside. I especially like the hallway that led to where the rooms were, and it's
and then the room was a circle, and the rooms branched off.
The problem is, I'd get drunk and get lost. I'd keep going through the wrong door, and then I'd start doing like Monty Halls.
I think that's why that she drew, that Stabby drew like different sigils on each door with chalk.
Stone, cement stone, in fact.
Yes.
Yes, cement. They built it out of cement. Cinder blocks with rebar, poured concrete into the center of it, and for the area where they couldn't do poured concrete any longer because of weight variances, they filled it with rock. That thing is solid as can be.
It's awesome.
It was great. It was fun. I was jealous. I'm like, you know, I used to think building a castle to live in is so impractical unless you're a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
But they did it.
They did it. They did it. It looks like a castle. When you're sitting there and you walk into the front doors.
Yes, Jennifer, we're talking about you.
Yes, we are. We're talking about you. But when you walk into the front doors are massive.
Yes.
The hallways are massive. If I was 8...
Oh my God, their kitchen, I just about fucking died.
I could park my car in the kitchen.
Yes.
I could have parked my car in the middle of the kitchen and not touched the counters.
It was beautiful. It was, oh my God.
Yeah, it was absolutely great. And they're going to be adding on to it, making it even larger.
That's awesome.
I mean, so I can't wait to see that.
And honestly, I had a great time just cooking in that kitchen.
You know what? I had a great time eating the food that was cooked in that kitchen. And I tell you, it was the healthiest I've probably eaten in... I'm going to have to say years.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely years. I mean, when she told me what stuff was made out of course, because I don't eat healthy. You know, I really don't. I was immediately, my mind was like, oh, this is going to suck. But I'm going to eat it up and I'm going to smile and put on a face because I am not a connoisseur of healthy food. And I ate it, and it was freaking delicious. Everything I ate was good.
Yeah, we had fajita style steak strips. We had spaghetti squash
which I hate squash, and I enjoyed it.
Which had what was it? It had cranberries. It had pomegranate seeds. It had almonds. It had I think pistachios in it.
It had a lot of stuff.
It had a lot of stuff. It was really good, and it was.
I thought the cranberries was definitely a wonderful add-on to it. I was worried about that with cranberries and squash. It was a wonderful add-on to it. Gave it lots of flavor. And then the soup. The soup was amazing.
It was a ginger cashew carrot soup.
Yeah. And I tell you what, it wasn't overdone. Any of the particular add-ons or the mixes into it for the seasoning wasn't overdone at all. It was all even.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, you could taste every bit of it, and that was what was great about it. Usually when people do those, they like overdo the ginger.
And it had just the right amount of ginger, where you had like a little bit of gingery taste, with a little bit of bite to it, but it wasn't overpowering, wasn't overwhelming. It was awesome.
So it was amazing, and then the cookies.
The cookies.
The cookies were awesome.
Yes.
All right, so my friend Tom is over on the Facebook feed.
Yes.
And I'll talk about the NFL later when we get into the mundane side of the world. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you completely there, Tom. So it was definitely, every bit of it was a complete surprise. You know, it really was. It was a wonderful evening. The only thing I can say is because I love you guys to death for offering the queen size air mattress, but with way we were, way I was in there, it wouldn't have worked out. So I think maybe next time I'll bring a cot, or something like that. I mean, it's a lot more easier without it, because I was afraid if I set the air mattress up, I could have probably wedged it in there. Mm-hmm. But then if Bubba decided he wanted to get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom,
he would sit on the mattress and fell over you.
He would have had to roll over me, and the last thing I wanted could nugga berries in my face. You know what I mean? Not the kind of berries that you want at all. Not at all. So, like I said, I think next time I'll bring like a cot or something like that. It'll be there. But like I said, everything was great. I just wish they had a snake in the aquarium.
It wasn't there.
But it never came out once where I could see it.
Well, when you know, Jennifer and, you know, their child who you were in the room, you know, came in and they're like, oh yeah, we got a snake and blah 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 blah. I was like, where is it? So the kid just like opens up the tank and starts digging around and goes, oh, here it is, and it was a small little baby ball python.
Oh,
it was adorable.
I looked too. I sat there for like ever. I'm like, where are you? Where are you?
No, it was a cute little danger noodle.
Sweet. So, but anyway, like I said, absolutely wonderful evening. Wonderful evening. I was up till what, 2:30?
Yeah, you were up till 2:30, and then myself, Derek, Mayhem, and Stabby were up till about 4 in the morning just talking.
Yeah, about everything and anything. If it came to mind, I mean, we talked about it.
And then, even though it was 4 o'clock in the morning that we all went to bed, they still got up early in the morning to cook all of us breakfast.
I know.
It was awesome.
Yeah, we had little breakfast burritos.
Yep. Ham and egg and...
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. And again, food, wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Food was wonderful. There was no letdown whatsoever. There was nothing I was like, eh.
I kind of didn't want to leave.
I didn't either. I really didn't. I wanted to stay there. I was like, I can be the hunchback in the tower. I mean, I'm
ringing the bell.
Ding, ding, yep. I mean, we can have the Festival of Fools. I could win.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, there you go. So, I mean, like I said, absolutely wonderful time. Yes. Wonderful time.
So
Great hosts.
So then after that, we traveled an hour west to go to...
Blood Tide Coast.
In Corpus Christi.
Yes.
Right on the beach.
Freaking windy as shit, dude. I'm really glad we didn't take some of our members down there, some of our little... Like, if we'd have took Rennis down there, we could have tied a rope to him and just used him as a kite.
Yeah.
I mean, it was windy. Yes, it is, Tom, because they don't sponsor the program, and I really don't want to get hit with copyright issues.
Yes.
These, not so bad. They usually don't give a damn. They look at it as free advertising, so they don't care. But soda companies, believe it or not, on YouTube, get stupid.
Yeah, they do.
They get really stupid, and if you're caught drinking with labels without authorizations, they can actually take your channel down. So we've made it a point now, if we have them, we'll turn the labels away, like if they're cans, and if they're bottles, we'll take the labels off.
Yeah.
So now you know why that's that way. But we went to Blood Tide Coast, met up with Pirate. Hadn't seen Pirate since the last Kingdom event.
Yes.
Had some fun out there. Did a little fighting. Got racked in the nuts, or got stabbed in the nuts pretty hard.
You got stabbed in the nuts. I got racked in the nuts by
you
a
got
dog.
Yeah, you got headbutted in the nuts by your
dog. No, he didn't headbutt me. What he did was, one of the girls was throwing a tennis ball, and he went after it. And I was holding his leash, and he knocked the actual leash, because I have one of those retractable ones.
Yeah.
Hit it right into my dick.
Oh, well, you know. It happens.
Oh, my God. That asshole.
So, Luther is also checking in.
Yes.
On YouTube. So, yeah, I mean, we had a good time, and then Pirate had to take off.
Yeah, because he had a job
interview, which mundane life matters.
Absolutely.
And then, so I took over the field, and we had a bunch of newbies.
And they got to learn the rules.
They got to learn the rules.
They learned about the Capora and what they can and can't do. And
they learned a new game.
They'd
never played Fox Across before.
Really?
They'd never played it before, and they're like, oh, wow, that was cool. And they played that for like an hour and a half. It's like the longest I've ever played that game. After a while, I kind of like, okay, let's go do something else. But I guess when you get a new game, I never really look at it like when you give newbies a brand new game.
Yeah.
For you, it's boring after like 10 minutes because you've done it so much. But for them, it's amazing, and they want to keep playing it. They wanted to keep playing it after we had to go. Yeah. But, you know, unfortunately, we had to leave because it is it was almost 6-hour drive back.
Just about.
Yeah, 6-hour drive back to the home front. That's
no, we did in about 5.5.
5.5. You picked the most expensive fucking gas station at Corpus Christi.
Well, it was the only one that I saw.
I mean, folks,
that was readily available.
Let me tell you that gas at Corpus Christi is usually not insanely expensive because, well, gas is made in Corpus Christi. Okay? Majority of the fuel used in the United States of America is made right there. Okay? So fuel is not expensive. The first thing I noticed as we were pulling up to a Shell station, it wasn't one of those Valero Shell stations or Circle K gas stations. It was just a Shell. Then we get there, and they put paper over the gas pump that says, we are no longer a Shell, we're a Citgo. And I was like, well, this... And then I looked at the price. Okay, everywhere else was $2.10 a gallon.
Yeah, it was like $2.19.
You picked the one that was $2.49.
Well, I didn't fucking know. It didn't say on the thing.
You passed like a block behind us was a Valero where it said $2.13 on the marquee, and we $2.49.
That wasn't a block. That was like close to about 2 miles.
There was no block. There was one block. So there you go. You know, so it was one block. That one block may be 1.5 miles long because you got to remember there's a multi-billion-dollar oil refinery in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a big-ass block.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but anyway, we got fuel there, and we couldn't get sodas because the refrigeration system in that place was a joke. And then we rode down the road, and then stopped at a Walmart in Troy. Well, or not Troy. Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle, we stopped at a Walmart. Well, we stopped at that one place to get sodas.
It was a Pilot.
A Pilot to get sodas.
No, it was a Flying J.
It was a Flying J to get sodas. And then we went to Kyle and at Walmart, and then
that
got fuel.
$2.13.
Right on the other side of Kilnell's house.
Yeah.
Right down the street from him. Mm-hmm. And then we drove the rest of the way home from there. Drove through Austin. Not any traffic in Austin we went through either.
No.
It was pretty smooth sailing down 35 through Austin, which is up. But anyway, you know, we had a good time with it. Had a great time all the way around. I'm hoping Blood Tide Coast picks up their numbers. Blood Tide Coast picks up their numbers. I really do. And I think that Eclipse is definitely very well taken care of.
They're on the up and up. A lot of really awesome crafters out there.
Yeah, and we helped them out with the situation they got going on, and hopefully they'll get it resolved this upcoming weekend, so then Absolutely. They won't have any issues with that. You know, and all in all, it was great. The relics were gorgeous. They got handed out, and wonderful things, and who gives a damn if some people don't like them or if they do.
And who gives a damn if, you know, they aren't the actual relics that are written in the ROP.
Even though the ROP says you can make your own, just they can't be stupid.
Yeah.
You know.
Sorry, I'm not going to fucking do whatever the fuck Brennan says.
Yeah, right.
Something about Eagles.
Oh yeah, no. Tom was checking in with me there. But anyway, you know, so it was a great weekend. However, we did have one. I'm gonna skip down to the bottom one, and then we'll talk about those two afterwards.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so we did have one situation happen in Amtgard over the weekend.
Oh my God.
We had hi Dana. So we did have
a player from another kingdom.
A player from another kingdom get suspended for 6 months. Well, people said banned.
No, suspended.
Suspended. You come back at the end of 6 months, you're suspended. Banned means your ass ain't coming back.
Exactly.
They need to clarify that.
They do. But the ROP, because the way that Brennan fucking put it in there is that ban and suspension is used interchangeably. And yes, I will say Brennan because V8 is fucking
Brennan guard. So anyway, Musker got suspended for 6 months.
Yes.
And the way they worded it is what caused the issue with it online. They said being a toxic player. Okay. Yes. They didn't really define toxic player. Now, I've been around him. Okay, there's times when I get along with him fine. And there's other times where I just would like to either throw him off a cliff or me just jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have issues with him. And I'm really hoping during this 6 months that he's off, he takes a moment to reevaluate himself in this game and go, okay, maybe I need to take a different approach in this.
Yes.
And that's at least what I'm hoping for. Will it happen?
Probably not.
Well, we'll see. 6 months isn't too bad. Most the principal act in the banning someone who disagrees with a select few. That wasn't it.
No,
that was not it.
No, it's not because he disagreed with the select few.
Blake!
No,
go to YouTube.
Yeah. The biggest thing about, what Muskrat did was this has been going on for months and months and months.
A lot of players, it's just me though.
Yeah. This has been going on for months and months and months where, his online presence on the Facebook page, on the Wetlands page, has been constantly bad-mouthing people, like literally tearing them down, talking shit, calling names.
His online presence was ridiculous at times, too.
Yeah, and constantly, because he didn't agree with the way that something would go, because
it didn't matter what it was.
Didn't matter what it was, but because somebody disagreed with him, immediately he'd start verbally attacking them.
And he did, and there was one post I was involved with on that Kingdom page where he got in there and somebody told him and said, look, you don't know what you're talking about. That's all he said.
Yeah.
Said, you don't know what you're talking about, and he went the fuck off.
Like for 3 comments, and each one was like 3 paragraphs
long,
each.
And he went off, and some of it was profanity laced.
Yes. And
it was an attack. It really was.
Straight up. All because somebody said, you don't know what you're talking about.
And so at that point, if I'm online and somebody says you don't know what you're talking about, well, of course, usually I don't know what I'm talking about. But in that same instance, they go, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, okay, look, this is where I'm coming from on this, and maybe you'll understand what my point is. I'm not going to sit there and attack somebody because we disagree. I mean, my God, you look at half the people that I conversate with on Facebook, and we disagree about all kinds of crap.
Yeah, but then at the end of it, after an actual conversation, and stuff, and information being passed back and forth, then there's a bigger spectrum where you're looking from the outside in, and it's like, okay, now I understand where you're coming from, I understand where you're coming from, so how can we go ahead and remedy the situation?
I get it. And Bacon, I understand what you're saying too. He says, I don't condone his attitude, but I don't condone anyone's attitude, depreciation, deprecation, sorry, to outwardly dickish. People are gamut. We didn't drop Kalalibus until he cheated. No, but I tell you what, they talked about suspending him more than once before that thing happened.
Yeah. But, it wasn't just his online presence, it was his actual physical presence and his attitude at Park itself.
Well, and not to mention the fact how many people were at Qualls.
Yeah.
I was at Qualls, and I got so pissed off because he wasn't taking any of the leg shots I was giving him on my polearm at all, not taking a single one of them. And I got angry, and I look over, and, and I'm not going to accuse Justin of anything, but one of his own company mates is sitting there reaving the battle game, or reaving the tournament, and not calling a single shot on him. And I look over at Justin, and then I took another shot and got him in the leg, and he didn't take it, and I got so frustrated I backed up, and I was going to charge that pole into him, and I ended up falling down and hurting myself. So there was a lot of people that complained after that tournament was over about how crappy his honor was in the tournament. And the bad part about it was he was sitting there talking shit a lot during that tournament, saying that other people weren't taking their shots. And I mean, I'm not talking about just trash talking like normal, like, oh, you got your dick handed to you or anything like that. No, I mean, he was talking trash. Yeah. And, so just the overall totality of everything involved is what led up to the 6 months. It's not just one thing, and that's what a lot of people are taking from this.
Yeah, it's not.
It was one thing that did this. He didn't. I've heard he didn't agree with the cool kids. I've heard he this or he this. It's not or. It's this and this and this and this,
and the thing that
added up to it,
and the thing that really broke, the straw that broke the camel's back, and according to the saying, is that at an actual park day, he became so toxic that
hey Jay, hey Barracks over there,
that he was getting ready to go ahead and start running people off the park, and some of them were newbies. And it was because of his presence and because he was constantly berating the newbies and hitting them as hard as he could and all that shit. Where it's like, okay, well, you know what? We really need to do something about this.
And here's the thing. And first of all, real quick, Eric, I would like, I need to want real quick the comments I made on Surreal's page. I apologize if they seem like an attack on you. You weren't the first person that had said something about the relics, an ROP issue. And by then I was so irritated at the moment you asked a question over on Surreal's page, I'm over the top. So
he was also running on like 2 hours of sleep.
I was running on
cranky.
I was running on 2 hours of sleep and kind of shitty caffeine. So
and we were still in the car, and it was like 4 hours in the car at that time.
And we were now antagonizing each other at this point. So I apologize for my comments on Surreal's page if it seemed like I was attacking you.
Yeah, myself and Bubba gaslighted you. It was hilarious.
Yeah, because I fucking started losing it for like a good 50 miles. I was just like,
dude, you were rambling and ranting, and it was just hilarious.
I was going on. I was on and on and on.
I was trying so hard not to crash the van while driving from laughing too hard.
Well, it's like I like yelled out at one point, these people keep asking about this fucking, why did we make a non-ROP fucking relic? You know why? Because CK says, fuck you, that's why.
He was a lot louder when he said that.
Yeah,
a lot angrier. I was. And a lot redder.
So Barrett, it wasn't directed at you. It was just I had already heard it so many times that
you made him snap.
It was just the last thing, and you weren't asking to be a dick about it. Other people were being a big dick about it. Okay, you know, people with little dicks were being big dicks about the situation. So and unfortunately, like I said, I lashed out at you, and I do apologize.
So moving on.
So, folks, this weekend, that's right, the Saturday at
Trader's Gate.
Oh, Jesus God. I laid it out for you, and it's some enthusiasm here.
I don't give a shit.
Well, you should. It's your kingdom. You're going to be there. We're going to be reaving the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anyway. So, at Trader's Gate in San Antonio, Texas, the home of the Alamo. Anyway, we're gonna be at Weapon Master, Dragon Master for Celestial Kingdom, and we're gonna be reaving. And it's gonna be a blast. If you guys are in the San Antonio area or can get to the San Antonio area, please, by all means, come down. Be a part of it. If you're artsy fartsy and stuff like that, enter into the Dragon Master, because this is one of our scheduled events where you can work on your ladders to knighthood.
Yes.
Killamill's trying to get his project finished in time because he really wants to enter it.
He won't.
He will.
He won't.
He'll win the whole damn thing.
No, he won't.
Yeah, he will.
No.
It's like positive, negative. It's like a AA battery sitting here.
Something like that.
Or more like a quadruple D battery.
Something like that.
There you go. Bigger than a truck battery over here. So that's going to be this weekend at Slaughter Creek, so we're going to be there.
Trader's Gate.
Trader's Gate. Sorry, Slaughter's Creek. Everybody's going to go to the wrong fucking part.
Let him.
Well, Yami said it was here. And then it's going to be all my fault. So anyway, yeah, so Weapon Master, Dragon Master this weekend. Saturday. Be there before noon.
Yes.
Because shit gets started around 12:30, 1 o'clock, so get your ass in there. Sounds like Jason Voorhees has invaded my cell phone. So that's going on. We got CK mid-ring.
Which I will not be attending.
Yeah, we know. Well, you got to work for that anyway, don't you?
Maybe. Don't know yet.
Well, I understand.
Schedule doesn't get posted till like Thursday.
I understand the other reason why you're not going to go.
Yeah, because I don't feel safe.
I get that. I understand. Hey, by the way, if you're not doing anything, you can always go to Nocturnus.
I can go to the Nocturnus event, or I can help run fighter practice for Murky Waters.
Yeah, and possibly run part of regular practice until we get back.
Yes.
So there you go. I mean, because you want to be Duke.
Don't want to get banned for disseminating false information. No, it isn't false information, because I personally do not feel safe on that site.
Don't. No, you know what? He doesn't, and I understand why. And it's a whole load of personal shit that we're just not going to get into.
Nope.
But
it's my life, and if you want to know about it, you can go fuck yourself.
It's my life, you know
Don't you forget?
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah.
No Doubt did it, but somebody else did it first.
Oh, it was Bon Jovi.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't Bon Jovi. It was a British band. It was a British dude.
Oh yeah.
Had like the crappiest video ever with like the weird like paintbrush CG
right.
all over it. Yeah, I forgot who that is. Josh be a Kite. I'm going to be a Kite. I'm going to keep this year.
Well, depending on what happens after Spring War, I either will or will not be attending Amtgard. We'll see.
I got a question. Just want to know. If I end up moving to Florida, if that becomes a thing, are you coming with? That way we could wreck Neverwinter together.
I'd probably move to Alaska.
What?
Mm-hmm.
How the hell are we going to do this show?
We can teleconference.
That's going to look crappy. You and I both know this.
Oh, well, who gives a shit?
I do. I like the show. They may not, but I do.
The show's fun.
The show's a blast.
It is.
So you maybe possibly, if I end up having to go to Florida, you should just go with me. Yeah. The hell, we'll wreck Florida. We'll go down to Miami and tear it up.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll probably come visit.
He'll stay.
In Alaska.
No, in Florida.
Alaska.
I don't know if I'm going yet or not. I made up my mind.
We'll see.
But anyway, so Mid-Range is going to be at Devil's Bayou, and that's going to be on the, the 9th through the 11th of February. So, if you want to come to the event, come to the event. It's going to be, some of us will have fun. And was there anything else that happened in the world of Amtgard? I don't think there was.
No.
I think it was pretty quiet. Again.
So far.
You know what the bad part about this is reminding me a lot of the Philippines right now. You know what happened in the Philippines? Their fucking volcano finally blew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is a matter of time.
This is like Amtgard. Amtgard, it's rumbling. Something's coming.
Something is coming.
Something's coming. And the whole muskrat thing was like a little poof out of the side of the mountain. This spewed ash, but not lava.
Yeah.
I had this weird feeling something's coming.
Maybe.
Something big.
I'll start something.
No, you do. Sometimes I want to hit you.
I dare you.
You ain't got. Don't even. Don't even. You know what mood I'm in right now. But anyway, so Amtgard's been, other than that, it's been real quiet. Nothing big to talk about. I checked the pages. Nobody's been knighted recently.
Nobody took me up on my offer, on my challenge.
Oh, due to what?
About, if they posted publicly on the CK page for the removal of me from the game, then I'd walk away, and nobody took it.
Boy, that was a whole big mess.
Nobody took it. Nobody did it.
Blake says he'll hit you.
Yeah, with your cane.
And? You ever been struck with one of those?
I have.
They fucking hurt.
They do.
A lot.
I actually got hit with a cane while I was a corrections officer.
How does it? Well, you got to let the inmates have a cane. I mean, if it requires.
Well, I was working at a 2250 high max security.
Oh, there's a new park opening in Georgia. Is it Georgia where you're at? Or,
Georgia.
I think. I think you were saying you guys are in Georgia or something like that. I think, aren't you? New park.
Talking on Facebook.
I am talking on Facebook. They need to get over the YouTube channel and they can talk about it here, and everybody will conversate with them. You look like a popsicle after.
I'm not going to be Jose Jalapeno on a stick.
You like a popsicle after. You'll like a popsicle afterwards, is what he's saying.
Oh.
I don't think you want that popsicle. Pretty sure it's Byron, Georgia. So hey, look, folks, if you're in the Byron, Georgia area and you play Amtgard, there's gonna be a park there. And it's gonna be fun. I know the people that are opening it up. They were in Crystal Groves with me. Good people of Crystal Groves.
Cool.
Not the crappy ones. And they're not all okay. There's some, not all of them. They're just misled by certain individuals. Every king, not you. You haven't even been there.
Damn it.
Look, a kingdom that's fucked up that didn't get infected by you. They did it on their own. Go figure.
I probably had some influence.
No, Jesus Salang had a lot of influence over there. He's worse than you.
I was probably whispering in his ear.
No, you weren't.
I'll get blamed for it.
Wisp was doing it.
I'll get blamed for it.
Wisp was doing it.
Oh.
There's old people in this game right now going, oh, I know that name. Where do I know that name from? There's young people going, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. You don't want to know who I'm talking about. But anyway, so yeah, if you're in Byron, Georgia, check it out.
So I think that's going to do it for our Amtgard side.
I think that's going to do it for our Amtgard side. I think we beat that into the bush. So
yes.
We'll talk about mundane. Now, first thing I want to talk about, you didn't put it up here, but I'm going to talk about it.
Oh, about the Eagles.
Hey, all you doubters out there. Super Bowl. Super Bowl. We're going to Super Bowl. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go, we're going to kick the Patriots' ass. Hell no, I'm going to do what I've done all year. All year long. It's another game. It's another game on the road. We'll see what happens in the end. But people turned around and said Atlanta was going to kick the shit out of us. They didn't. People said, well, Minnesota. It was so bad. The NFL website, Monday before this past weekend, opening Monday, going into the weekend. If you clicked on the NFL.com, up on the screen to buy the tickets, it had the Minnesota Vikings versus the New England Patriots before the Patriots beat the Jags. Before they'd even played this weekend, they had the Patriots versus the Vikings. So the NFL made a choice. Even the NFL said the Eagles weren't going nowhere. Philadelphia's in the Super Bowl.
And I was looking forward to the Royal Rumble.
Why are you looking for the Royal Rumble's this weekend?
Oh, I thought it was.
And Super Bowl's next weekend. Super Bowl's the weekend of February 4th.
But you were saying that.
I thought it was, and I forgot they went back to the old way.
Okay. Cool.
For a while, they did the Pro Bowl after the Super Bowl, so the Super Bowl is the following week. Now they've gone back to the Pro Bowl's the week before the Super Bowl, and then the Super Bowl, so they get a week off.
Cool. So we actually did get to watch the pay-per-view.
We would have been able to anyway.
I know, but
I don't have cable.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, you would have had to deal with me listening to the game on the computer.
Yeah.
To listen to it on WISP out of Philadelphia. According to Blake, he's got no dog in the fight because
the Steelers are out.
Because the Steelers are out. I was kind of hoping for a Pennsylvania showdown, Blake. I really was. I would have liked to see Ben Roethlisberger.
Hey, with the Pats, because they're going to be playing in an outdoor arena.
No, they're not. They're playing in the dome.
In the dome?
They normally play in an outdoor arena. Now they're going to be in a dome.
Oh, well.
But the bad part is that means Brady's going to be more dangerous because now he ain't got no weather.
Yeah, that means that they can do Inflategate again.
Deflategate won't help because it's a climate-controlled environment. Deflategate helped when it was cold.
Yeah.
When it's cold out, you deflate the ball a little bit, gives you grip. When it's really cold outside and the ball's fully inflated, the ball becomes a brick.
Yeah.
And so if you deflate it a little bit, you can grab onto the ball a little bit better grip on it. Now, just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. If you do it a lot, then when you grab the ball and it's like,
squishy.
How's that 5-year-old kid palming a football? That shouldn't happen. But it's in a temperature-controlled environment, so deflating the ball won't do you any good because the balls are normal temperature.
Yeah.
However, I'm pretty sure that while the Eagles will be practicing for the Super Bowl, Bill Belichick's cronies will be videotaping what the Eagles are doing like they did last time and know every single play we're going to do. They did the same shit to the Rams, too.
I personally don't watch the foosball.
Oh, well, I do. I'm a football fan. I grew up a football fan. I played football. Not as good as Al Bundy in Polk High School, but I was pretty damn good in high school myself.
Honestly, in the words of Mrs. Boucher, foosball's the devil.
Well, actually, that foosball's the devil, baby! And, well, I played with the devil. So anyway, so there you go. There's your update news on that. Philadelphia versus the Pats. Pretty much everybody's got the New England Patriots by 5.5 is the average. If the Pats win, Tom Brady will have 6 Super Bowls, which no other quarterback in history has done. He will have pretty much cemented his legacy permanently in history because he'll own every single record except the bad records for a quarterback in the Super Bowl. He'll own them all.
Yeah.
Nobody will even be close to him. If Philadelphia wins, that they will cement themselves in history as finally being off of the "we ain't won a Super Bowl" list. Which then I can finally get told. I can finally look at people from Dallas when they go, "Well, how many you got?" I can go, "Ha ha, bitch, we got one." Then they're like, "But you only got one." Fuckers. So.
And Bacon, I do agree with you.
Focus on anger, the purpose of correcting a situation, I can't argue with.
But he isn't condoning violent anger in any action. If you don't know why you're mad, take a few minutes to wrap your head around why you're feeling that way.
You know, and that's true. Then there's times that some of us get mad for the hell of it. I mean, we get mad, don't realize why we're mad, go the fuck off, and then after we're done, we're like, fuck. You know, so there you go. So let's move on to the normal mundane stuff, which unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you on Facebook Live, this is the last time I'm gonna tell you about going over to YouTube and Nocturnus posted in Nocturnus. That sounds sexual. Well, it just said Nocturnus posted in Nocturnus. Well, is that playing with yourself?
Possibly.
I don't know.
So if you need to go ahead and find the link to our YouTube page, you can go ahead and go on to Rich's Facebook page.
If you scroll right below this live feed, you will see where the reminder came up for we're going to be here on YouTube. If you click on that, it will take you to the YouTube page. Join in there, and then you get yourself into the chat room with other people. Yeah, I know a lot of places have their own personal Amtgard pages for the parks now, and it gets confusing sometimes of who the hell you're talking to. But anyway, if you get yourselves over there, become a subscriber. Like I said later on tonight, I'll tell you what's great about becoming a subscriber to our YouTube channel. So other than that, folks, we're going to say goodbye to the Facebook Live crew, and we're going to switch over to the next set of topics that we've got tonight. And trust me, you don't want to miss them. They're all going to be a blast. All right? It's going to be interesting. So with that being said, for those of you guys on Facebook, we'll see you later. Bye. So anyway, so now back to the YouTube channel.
Excuse me. So, here in the mundane world, we had quite a few things happen between last week and today, which we're actually going to cover an event that happened today as well. So, first off, we're going to talk about the government shutdown.
For 3 days. In fact, the government was mostly shut down more during the Martin Luther King holiday weekend than they were this shutdown.
Yes.
Because they didn't really officially shut down until Saturday.
Correct.
And they were reopened by Tuesday morning.
Yes. Martin
Martin Luther King Day, everybody skedaddled at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon from all federal offices, didn't come back to work till Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
So the Martin Luther King holiday shutdown was a whole lot more. Than the shutdown we just had. Yes. And everybody just thought the world was coming to a freaking end. Yes. They really did. Everybody thought the world was coming to an end. They thought, oh shit. I mean, if it would have stayed shut down, then we would have started, it would have started really affecting shit, because we've had shutdowns that have gone on longer.
Yes.
And the thing is, everybody's freaking out now. Okay? Carter had 6 shutdowns. Ronald Reagan had 8. George Bush, the first one, had 4. Bill Clinton had, in his 8 years, had 6. Obama had, what, 3? 3. Bush the son, had like 4. You know, and then we have 1. And everybody's saying, oh, where's President ever? He had a shutdown.
And the thing is, Trump had nothing to do with it. Shut
down. And that's not what the news said.
No.
That is not. Now, I will say, okay, on here that he said, Janet said both sides be fair. That is correct.
Yeah.
This was just as much the Republicans' fault as it was the Democrats' fault.
Yeah. Javi, what it is that they signed a stopgap bill, which will keep the government running until February 8th. February 8th, if they can't come to a solution as to what the reason why the shutdown happened, then they're just going to go ahead and push it and continue from there.
Okay, so here's the whole agreement that's on the table for the 8th.
Yes.
The whole agreement that's on the table. They came to an agreement that they would go ahead and put a stop budget to the 8th. Okay.
Stopgap.
So stopgap budget to the 8th. Okay. And the agreement is that if they cannot agree on a budget by the 8th, then the only way the Democrats will not filibuster another shutdown or filibuster into another shutdown, DACA has to be funded on the extension.
Yes. Has to
be fully funded. It not just, well, we'll cover this or we'll cover that. No, DACA has to be fully funded on the next extension. Now here's the deal. There is no rule that says that anybody's got to live up to that agreement on either side. So even if they do all come up with this, one side could still say, nope, not signing it, not voting for it. And then people are like, well, it's the president's fault because the president said, bring me whatever and I'll sign it. It never got to the president's desk.
Never.
The only thing that ever came to the president's desk was the agreement between Schumer and a Republican. It was just a bill. It was just an idea they drew up.
It was Schumer and McConnell.
No, it wasn't McConnell.
It was McConnell.
No. It was.
No, the agreement was made between Schumer and Mitch McConnell.
No, for the increase in to the extension of the 8th was an agreement between them two.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the only thing that made it to the president's desk. The only thing that made it. Schumer and another Republican sat off to the side and came up with their own budget bill. Mm-hmm. Okay, brought it to the president to say, hey, what do you think about this before we put it on the floor? He looked at it and said it was ridiculous. And it was. Because I got to read part of it before it got taken down. And it was absolutely asinine. it was insane. And yes, I know the president said he would sign whatever they brought him. But then people were like, well, he didn't even sign that. Well, it wasn't official legislation.
Yeah.
It still has to go before the House. The House has to approve it and vote it. Then it goes to the Senate, and the Senate's got to do it. And unless the Senate does it without any changes, then it's golden for a budget. Because the President of the United States does not dictate the budget.
No.
Okay? Not at all.
No. The House makes the rules. The Senate
approves
it. And then the
president signs off on the finality of it.
Enacts it.
Okay, but he said if the House and the Senate put together something, bring it to my desk, I'll sign it. So no, they didn't bring them shit. Nothing was passed. The House passed it like immediately. They passed the budget immediately. It was no time passed.
It was the Senate.
And then it went to the Senate and all shit broke loose.
And the funniest thing is that the entire weekend, Trump didn't do anything.
Mm-mm.
Trump literally said, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're going to have to figure this out on your own. You're going to have to come together as a bipartisan bill of law.
And of course, Schumer decided to be all over the news on Monday morning telling everybody about how the president sat on his butt and did nothing.
No.
It's not his job to come up with the budget. Okay? Now, and I will say this, during the 8 years of Obama's administration, the Republicans were saying, well, Obama hasn't done any kind of a budget. Well, no shit. It's not the president's job to do a budget.
Stop being fucking idiots.
Okay? It's the House and the Senate are the ones that do the budget.
We need to pass term limits.
Okay, yeah, no shit. We need term limits. Okay, it's not the president of the United States. I never once bitched about Obama not coming up with a balanced budget.
It's not his fucking job.
I bitched that he didn't get them to do a balanced budget. Just like I was pissed off at Trump for a little bit there until Trump did the open door meeting.
Yeah.
You know, and it showed that they were actually trying to work together on something. Then I'm like, okay, we've got some progress here. And then, like I said, all hell broke loose in the Senate and it just went to shit. They couldn't approve anything. You know, and the bad part about it is with this whole DACA deal, okay, there are people in the DACA program that I want to stay here. They're contributing to the society. Absolutely. You know, they're great.
Law-abiding
Well, they're law-abiding to a point.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, yeah, they're here. They're not legal.
Yeah. But they're doing everything that they're asked.
But they're doing everything else. I would like to see a speedy pathway to citizenship for just the people in the DACA program.
Who are actually doing what they're doing.
You know, because I can tell you the moment the word comprehensive immigration reform is going to get passed in the Senate and the House, I will guarantee you, because right now border crossings are at an all-time low, yes. Right? I guarantee you the moment they say, hey, we're getting ready to pass, and you know, we're going to pass comprehensive immigration reform, you are going to quadruple, if not, I don't even know what the word, 10 times. Tenfold the amount of illegal immigrations. And the reason why is Ronald Reagan is the example. Ronald Reagan said he was going to shut down people being here illegally. But then they forced his hand and said, okay, fine, I'll go along with a comprehensive immigration package, which turned into amnesty. Not 2 weeks before the Senate finally passed the House's bill on the Immigration Reform Amnesty Act, they had something, what was it, in 3 days, they had somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 40,000 up to, in the possible numbers of 150 to 200,000 illegal border crossings.
Yes. And
that was during Reagan's era. So every time we bring up comprehensive immigration reform, which usually equals out to amnesty, border crossings go through the roof. Because as long as you're here, once that bill is enacted, you're good. If you cross the day after, like, sorry, Jose, you're a little late, then you're not good. And I don't think we need to go, well, if you're here illegally, we're just going to make you legal and be done with it. Yeah. Like I said, there is a lot, most of the people in the DACA program are legitimate people trying to do something. And you know what? Let's speed them, let's give them a process to become a citizen. There are people that are in the DACA program that became citizens.
Yes.
There is. You know, I've heard people say that it's not possible. 15, I heard one person say 15, I've heard another person say 17. I've heard one person say one of the people they know is in the DACA program, took them 5 years. You know, I don't know why it's taken so different. If they're here, they're contributing to society, they went and they got a high school education, a college education, they got a decent job. Why can't we just take them down to the immigration office and say, okay, they've done this, and this, and they've conformed to the American culture as it is. Why can't we just sit there and go, okay, here's a filing fee. Yeah, it's going to cost you a little bit of money.
Well,
once you're done with the filing fee, go, I am hereby a citizen. I do swear, you know, and all that. I don't exactly know what the oath is to become a citizen, yeah. But, you know.
Yeah, I will say this because, you know, my father's side of the family are immigrants.
Yes.
And while I was in the Army, I actually sponsored my father so he can get his green card.
Yes.
My aunt, my grandma, and my uncle, they received their green card, you know, in the early 90s, and they had already been in the U.S. in the 80s.
Okay.
So when they finally got the green card, they just barely became U.S. citizens. I think it was like 2012 or 2013.
Okay.
So they had been in the States almost 30 years before they officially became U.S. citizens. And after they got the green card, it took them another almost 20.
Yeah. Well, see, and with the DACA program, this is why I want the funding to cease. Let's make the ones that are the viable citizens, citizens. No longer need the funding. Okay? Take the ones that aren't, which understand that, and we got in this discussion this weekend.
Yes.
Okay? Understand that there is a huge amount of people on this DACA program. There is a number of ones that are not great citizens of this country, but the percentage-wise is relatively low.
Yes.
The number sounds high, but it's a very low percentage
compared to the
rest of them that are. So we can cut the funding, get these people their citizenship, and we don't have to fund the program anymore.
Yeah.
We can kill it. You know, I mean, my God, the government just killed its UFO research funding a couple months ago.
Yes.
We didn't need that anymore.
No.
Okay? We won't need this anymore. Because once you make the ones that are contributing to the society legal citizens, we no longer need DACA. It no longer needs to be. Why can't we do that? Why can't we get the House and the Senate to go, okay, The ones on the DACA program that are contributing to society, let's make them citizens. Let's haul their ass down to D.C. We'll stand them all on the mall. We'll get a judge to stand up on top, up at the balcony where the president does his swearing-in process, and we'll let them all swear the oath to the United States right then and there and become citizens. Because if you've ever been to New York, at the Statue of Liberty, they do large swearing-in ceremonies for people becoming citizens.
Yes. Okay,
so because they still do it, over in Ellis Island. It's either outside if it's nice, if it's not, it's inside in the museum.
Yeah. When my family did it, there was like 200 people in the room that all did the swearing in, and they all became citizens that day.
So we're looking at 700,000 people swearing in. Okay, we can put 1.5 million people in the mall. We got room.
I think the biggest issue, the reason why that's not going to happen, is because you have a lot of people who are in power, who are bleeding hearts, and the way that they see it is that if they keep this going, then that's more money that they can use.
Well, I see it a different way. There's one thing I do subscribe to, and there is, in all facets of the government, they have their little special interest groups.
Yes.
And those little special interest groups, somehow, some way, will make sure they get voted on.
Yes.
Okay? And as long as you keep them in the special interest groups, they will keep voting for them.
Exactly.
Okay?
It's all a power play.
It's when you take them out of that special interest group and make them equal with everybody else, they start to get their own mindset about things, go, well, wait a minute. It's kind of like right now, some are worried that because the economy has drastically improved itself, okay, that people aren't going to be so willing to vote for people who say, hey, look, I'll keep giving you welfare. Yeah. I'll keep giving you food stamps. I'll keep giving you this. Live below the poverty line. Just keep voting for me. And I'll give you all this free shit. They're actually starting to worry that now some people are starting to come off of welfare.
Yes.
There are the welfare recipient rolls and the food stamp recipient rolls have actually decreased in the last 4 months.
Yeah.
Okay. And some are starting to worry that they may not be getting those voters anymore. And like I said, it's on both sides of the aisle. You got special interest groups on both sides of the aisle that support, and both sides are guilty of trying to keep people down to vote for them.
Yeah.
And it's bad because the government using its position to keep people in an impoverished state to vote for them. And it's on both sides. It's not just one. It's not just the Democrats. It's not just the Republicans. It's both sides do this. And I'm with you on the term limits thing. I think we need I think we need term limits. We need to get rid of. Look, my God. I mean, look at there's some people that've been in there forever.
They probably did already, like, what, 9 or 10 different terms?
Well, it's one that's retiring from Utah, I think. He's on his 8th term or something like that.
Something like that. He's in his 80s.
Yeah, he's in his 80s. And, what's his name from Utah that ran for president? He's going to end up being his replacement. No, Huckabee's not from there.
No.
No. He was a governor of another state. Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney is going to be running for that Senate position, and I'm pretty much guarantee he's going to win. Unless he does something catastrophically stupid, which he doesn't. He is very calculated in politics. He will not fail. He will get elected. And then, see, the Trump people are worried because Mitt Romney was in the anybody but Trump category during the presidential elections.
Yeah.
And fought hard for Cruz to beat him.
Yes.
When it was narrowed down to Trump and Cruz, as the two prospective front runners, and nobody else was really there. You had a couple that were hanging on, like when you wipe your butt and some of the toilet paper sticks, they just wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
But it was down to Cruz and Trump, and Mitt got hard behind Cruz. And so some people in the government are wondering if Romney gets elected, Romney has the clout to end up being the leader of the Senate in no time. He won't get it the first term because I think there's an unwritten rule that a freshman senator can't become the Senate leader
Yeah.
But
and
the
isn't
party
the term
leader,
like 6 years?
yeah, term 6 years. But the second term, you very well are eligible, and I don't think it will take Romney long to become the Senate leader for the Republicans.
Especially since Romney is a powerhouse, period.
Yeah, he is. But you know, is he going to stay? Is he going to support the base and support the president, or is he still going to be an anti-Trumper, which is going to cause even more problems?
Well, it can go either way.
Yeah, it can, and we won't know until it happens. We won't know until November.
No.
You know. But anyway, let's move on from politics. Let's move on from that part of politics. I'm sure it'll come up later, but we'll talk about it later.
Well, we can go ahead and jump down to that bottom one on the first thing.
The solar panel, panels.
Yeah, because we're already talking about.
Yeah,
Trump.
we're already talking about Trump. So why don't we talk about this? Because people are fucking just going.
People are going fucking crazy, and honestly, this contributes to us making money in the U.S.
Well, it does because he's holding certain companies accountable in the standpoint.
Yes.
What he's talking about is
So there is a solar panel tariff that Trump had passed.
It's not just solar panels.
Solar panels and laundry machines that are imported from other countries.
From China and South Korea mainly.
Yeah. There is a 30% tariff on these things. And everybody's saying, oh, well, you know, Trump has put a 30% tariff on all of these.
On all of these things. And our solar panels and our washing machines are going to be insanely expensive.
And what they're saying is the reason why that he did that is because the Secretary of Energy is the head of Exxon.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh, well, you know, they're only doing this that way, you know, they can continue to pass fossil fuels and coal and yada, yada, yada. No, that is not the fucking case, you fucking idiots.
Okay, that's not the case at all. What's going on is, okay, first of all, during the Obama administration,
yes,
okay, several companies bought in on the energy credits thing.
Yes.
And money was given out by the federal government to make solar panels and energy efficient laundry machines and stuff like this. And there was United States companies that got money from the federal government to do this, like Samsung, for instance. Mm-hmm. Samsung was one of the big ones that got money, besides the other one that went belly up, and we all found out that was a scam later to get the money.
Yeah, but Samsung isn't even headquartered in the U.S.
It's made in the I deliver to one of their huge ass production facilities.
Yeah, but their headquarters is not in the U.S.
It's actually in
Korea.
Well, no, but they have an American.
They have an American branch, but the main headquarters.
They have American. Well, I understand that, but they have they have a base in America.
Yes.
Okay, and they make shit in America.
Yeah.
Okay, and the American side of it took money from the Obama administration when they passed that
yes.
Clean Energy Act thing.
Yes.
Okay, they're not living up to what they said they would do with the United States plants. Okay, I'm just using Samsung as one of the examples.
Yes.
Okay. This tariff affects what comes in from China and South Korea on these things. They're still made here. We still make them here in the United States, just not to the level that they said they would. So what is Trump doing? Okay, fine. We're going to make demand of what's coming in from overseas go down, and the demand for what's made here in the United States is going to end up going up because what's made here in the United States will end up being cheaper.
Yes.
Which will then in turn make the companies here
boost production.
Boost production because now their demand is higher, and in order to meet demand, they have to make more.
And they're going to have to hire more people.
They're going to have to hire more, which means more people employed.
More jobs. On top of that, that builds up more revenue here in the U.S.
Especially here in Texas, because we have quite a few of those companies here in Texas that make shit.
Yeah, so all you motherfuckers who are blaming Trump, saying that he's doing this,
yeah.
Just that way, you know, it can knock out, you know, the American, you know, the American companies or anything like that. You're fucking stupid.
Okay, well, I will say that yeah, okay, part of this is going to benefit his buddy. Okay, it is. I mean, let's not lie. His buddy who still has shares in Exxon, okay, is the energy secretary. Okay, he's no longer the president of Exxon.
Correct.
Okay, but he still has shares in the company.
Yes.
Okay, actually doesn't have shares. He has stock.
Yes.
Not shares. He's one of the stockholders. Okay. Yeah, he's going to benefit out of the deal because making in the United States means petroleum exports are going to go down, and the standard to the United States sales are going to go up. Okay? Because these companies need petroleum in order to make plastic.
Yes.
Okay? And other things that are used in order to make solar panels, washing machines, and dryers, and dishwashers.
Yes.
Okay? Every house, for the most part, has a washing machine,
and
a dryer, and a dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I mean, my God, when you really think about it, there's a whole lot of petroleum went into making this one bottle. Yes. Well, not a whole lot in this one bottle, but the assembly line that produced this, there was a lot of petroleum used in that assembly line to make these bottles.
Yes. People
are like, we need to get off of oil. Okay, so much for that. The cell phone, gone. TV, we're doing this on, watching ourselves do this on, gone. Computer system, gone. Your shoes, gone. Okay? Petroleum's not going away, so people who think that we can live a life without the use of petroleum products is just
fucking stupid.
You off the rocker, because we have not created synthetics that can completely and totally replace petroleum.
Fucking idiots.
Okay, we can't. We haven't. We're probably light years away from that. What'll end up taking the speed along the process is we run out of petroleum.
Yes.
And then we'll have to speed along the process. We'll have to figure it out. I mean, yeah, they've made leaps and bounds with using corn and stuff like that, but still got a long ways to go. Because I know somebody's going to pop that up in the chat room. They're like, well, what about corn? Problem is, if you try to get ethanol made with corn and use it as in your fuel tank, it'll fuck up the seals in your fuel injection in a hurry. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. It's it corrodes a lot.
So at least now you know the truth about the whole solar panel and laundry machine tariff. It's not to go ahead and knock down businesses here in the U.S. It's to go ahead and boost production of businesses here in the U.S.
It doesn't affect the companies, and it doesn't affect the production companies in the United States at all.
Period.
If it is created in the United States and it is and it's sold here in the United States,
it's perfectly good to go,
or shipped overseas, it's perfectly good to go. It's the stuff we're buying from the slave labor from China and Korea that's going to get expensive. So if it says made in China on your washing machine, yeah, next in a couple of months it could end up being a little bit more money.
Yes.
You know, so I like the whole idea of trying to promote people to buy in America. People told me forever it's impossible. We'll never, ever, ever be able to buy stuff made in America.
Well, guess what? Here's Trump making America great again.
It's happening. There are companies that are getting bigger.
Don't fight it. Just let it happen.
Yeah, there's companies that are getting larger because of this. You know.
And honestly, he's helping small businesses boom.
Yeah. Small businesses are on an uptick. In fact, Linda McMahon, who is the wife of Vince McMahon, who owns the WWE, she is the secretary of the small business. She is the secretary of the Small Business Council Association or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is. And she was interviewed the other day on radio, and she said that small business is increasing.
Yes. Not
decreasing. Small businesses are increasing.
And it's because Trump, passed a bill saying, so that way it would be a lot easier for small businesses and startup businesses to go ahead and be approved a lot easier for loans.
He did, and that was one of the things she talks about, and why she's on tour across the United States right now, is talking to small business owners and people wanting to start up new businesses, small businesses, on how they go through all this and do what's been laid out there for them. It was one of the reasons for the tax reduction, to make it an even playing field for mom and dad that own a store down the street to be on an even playing field with a company like Walmart.
Yeah.
Because mom and pop can't afford at that moment the 37.5% corporate tax, but Walmart could. Well, now they're dropping it to an even playing field, so mom and pop can afford the 20% corporate rate, just like Walmart.
Yes.
Okay, so it puts them on it may not on scale of what they sell on a level scale. Mm-hmm. Okay, because Walmart's still massive.
Yes.
But at least mom and pop can afford 20% versus 37%. And you think, oh, it's only 17%. 17% of what you take in as a profit as a company is a lot of damn money when you're little.
Yes.
Walmart, not so much. Mom and dad's mechanic shop down the street, that's a lot of damn money. So, and that's why. So that's why they're getting the uptick. Even the CEO, the current CEO of Apple, the CEO of Apple, even said with this tax reduction, what they're getting now, they're expanding. They are now going to build another headquarters. Not going to be in Texas. Well, because they already have a headquarters in Texas.
Yes.
Okay. They're going to build another production facility.
Probably in Washington.
Okay. Actually, that wasn't on the list either.
Oh.
They're going to build another production facility. Apple's already talking about in the next 2 years they're going to add 150,000 jobs.
Yeah.
150,000 jobs. Okay. So we're looking at a lot of boom in industries that were stagnant in growth. They were completely stagnant in growth. And you've got companies that are overseas right now have already started applying to build buildings or occupy buildings to operate their corporations back in the United States again. So things are getting better. Everybody's like, well, this tax reduction bill is just asinine and it's going to hurt everybody. No, it's not.
Honestly, none of this would have happened if Hillary was voted into office.
Oh, hell no. We would have gotten 4 more years of what the hell Obama was doing, and we weren't going anywhere there either.
No.
Not saying he was the worst president in history.
No.
That's still Woodrow Wilson. But...
No, actually, William Henry Harrison.
No, I think Woodrow Wilson was worse. He's the only one that actually incarcerated large groups of the press for saying they didn't like him.
Well, William Henry Harrison only lasted in office for a month and a half.
Well, that's because he got the flu from a stupidly long speech
Pneumonia.
when it was raining.
Pneumonia.
Okay, it was his fault for giving a long speech in the rain.
Yeah.
I mean, you get inaugurated in December in Washington, D.C., and it's raining. You might want to go out, thanks for voting for me, I'm now the president. I do solemnly swear to uphold the office of the president of the United States. Goodbye! And get the hell in there where it's warm.
Yeah.
It's his fault. That doesn't make him the worst president. It makes him the dumbest.
It just means that he wasn't able to go ahead and make good on the promises that he made.
What promises did he make?
Hell if I fucking know.
Nobody really knows. So anyway, let's move on from that.
Yeah, so, moving on.
Remember how, folks, how we'd like to talk about the Navy and all their fuck-up shit they did while they were in Japan? And they're still in Japan. I have no idea.
Yes, they are.
Okay, well...
Finally, the top brass of the Navy is cracking down on these motherfuckers in 7th Fleet.
Yes, the 7th Fleet Top Command are now... They're now looking at prosecuting them for murder.
Yes. Murder, negligence, everything under the sun. And these are the commanding officers and their executive officers of both the Fitzgerald and the John McCain.
Mm-hmm.
Which the Fitzgerald, crashed into, what was it, an oil tanker?
Was it the Fitzgerald that crashed into an oil tanker or the fishing boat?
Oh no, the Fitzgerald crashed into the fishing boat, and McCain crashed into the tanker.
Into the tanker, because McCain the one that killed, what, 11 sailors?
Yeah.
And the Fitzgerald killed 7 people on the boat.
Yes.
Well, they're going after the command of these boats for those deaths.
They've already been asked to step down and were removed from their positions.
They were, yes, they were relieved of command.
But now they're actually going to be court-martialed.
Yes. Now, what happens to them? I don't know, because is it directly their fault? Because this is where the court-martial is going to go with it. Okay, they're most definitely probably looking at a dishonorable discharge and stripping of all benefits.
Yes.
That more than likely is going to happen.
Well,
But the court system, even in the military, is still going to look at... I mean, yes, there is it was under my command, therefore I'm responsible, code. However, the court is going to look at it as, was it exactly their actions that caused this to happen, or was it the result of many, many things happening that caused this, which at that point, unless you're going to put every member of that ship on trial for murder.
Well, from what I was reading, is that not only are the commanders for these two ships that are being court-martialed, but there's also members of the actual ship itself, like section leads and everything like that, who are being court-martialed as well. And the thing is, apparently what's going on is that the section leads had actually passed reports up to the commanders saying, look, this is what's going on. We cannot do these maneuvers. We have all this shit that's fucked up. We have these people who are not trained to do maneuvers like you're wanting us to do. We shouldn't go through with this.
Well, the McCain... Okay, the Fitzgerald, yes, older boat. Mm-hmm. But the McCain is a new boat.
Yes.
Okay? I watched them christen it in Hampton Beach, Virginia.
Yes.
Okay, McCain's a new boat. Okay, but McCain's problem was they were understaffed.
They were.
They were at what is considered less than skeleton crew operating in the Pacific.
And that's what the section leads were trying to tell the commanders, and the commanders still passed it off and said, we're still going to do it.
Well, it's because they were getting told by their command out of Hawaii that they needed to do this shit.
Yes.
And so
what happened was, apparently, some of these sailors were getting ready to go ahead and be like, look, we can't fucking do this, and they were getting ready to mutiny.
Well, and that was one of the things that was brought up by one of the commanders out of Norfolk, one of the retired commanders out of Norfolk. He says, you had a bunch of guys on a modern United States naval ship already considering mutiny on a modern naval ship. Like we're now back in the 1700s sailing across in sailing ships.
Yeah.
And committing a mutiny. And he said, that's a problem.
It is. And the commanders were like, fuck it.
And so you basically had the 7th Fleet running roughshod all up and down the Sea of Japan, when they really shouldn't have been. They should have been recalled back to Hawaii, and some shit been changed in a hurry. And
a different fleet should have taken their place.
Exactly. They've got more than one fleet in Pearl.
Yes.
They could have very well sent another fleet out to relieve them.
Yes.
And let them come back to Pearl, get refitted, get resupplied, get people on board, get them trained, make them do a bunch of maneuvers out off the coast of Hawaii until these guys are proficient in what they're doing and excellent at what they're doing. Because McCain wasn't that old, and half the guys hadn't received hardly any training on what they're using on the modern equipment.
And the biggest thing, what they were doing was they were taking these new guys straight out of fucking A school, flying them straight over to these ships without training them on them.
Yeah. Some of these guys were sitting in front of panels, they're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. They were sitting there operating one of the most advanced ships we have in the fleet with a manual sitting in front of them going, if I push this button, it does this, and then I need to push this other button because this, and this may happen. If I don't know where this other button is. Where is this other button?
And if I don't push this other button, then this whole panel's going to fry and Z out, and then everything's going to shut down.
And then there's going to be a guy that's going to come in here madder than hell that's going to have to rewire the whole damn thing. And that's what was going on. We're not stretching the story. This is the shit that was going on in one of the most modern naval ships we have in the fleet. In the Navy, period, this was what was happening. The guys that were testing this in Norfolk, most of them were not on this ship in the Pacific Fleet. Because when that ship went out there, those guys went off ship, other guys came on ship, and those guys went back to Norfolk. And that was the other thing that got brought up, because that's the one thing the retired naval commander that was interviewed about this said.
They didn't do any cross-training.
He goes, most of the time when you're getting a new ship, they bring the crew that's going to run the ship to Norfolk. When it gets launched, that crew has been a part of its building process. They have been a part of its fittings. They have been a part of the testing out into the bay and into the Atlantic Ocean to make sure everything's working properly.
Yeah. Part
of the mini war games that they conduct with it to make sure all of its systems are good. He goes, in this instance, with this one and a couple other ships that they've launched in the last couple of years, it's only been a few people that are going to be on that ship has been a part of it, including the captain, and his chief, and a couple of the command staff and a couple other little peons, but not the whole crew. So you only had 1.5% of the crew that actually was there through the building of the whole damn thing. And he said the rest of the crew was sitting at its port where it's going to be stationed, waiting for the ship to show up. That's not how you do this shit.
No.
Because they won't do it with a submarine.
Hell no.
Every member that's assigned to that sub, when they start building it, is there from the moment the first rivet gets put in to the moment she's ready to go out and start spying on the Russians.
Yes.
Well, unofficially spying on the Russians. Okay. But for some reason, they're making these ships where it says, we can run this with 10 people on a ship. And the problem is 10 people they're putting on the ship don't know what the fuck they're doing, so you're going to need like 150.
Fucking idiots.
Okay. But I mean, like I said, back to the command though. The way the court's going to look at it is, was it a totality of multiple events, or was it directly their command that resulted in these deaths?
It's definitely going to end up being a totality of multiple events that led to everything happening.
So none of them are going to really see any jail time.
No.
None of them are. They're going to get the top command. The top. I would say the top 4 officers involved in this are going to get made an example of to the other officers not to do this shit.
Yes.
But the rest of them are all going to get slapped on the wrist, say, "Don't do this shit again." That's what's going to end up happening. You know. So moving on from that.
So,
friends in Florida, guess what? You're in the news again.
So I think this happened either. It was either Saturday, Sunday, or Monday that this happened.
Folks, before you go out in the public, there are some shenanigans that are funny. And there's some shenanigans that aren't funny. So go ahead and tell them about it.
So apparently in Florida, they had an IED scare in a fucking mall in the hallway of the JCPenney.
Because we all know that's where the Hajis want to set IEDs. That's
so apparently,
fucking mall.
So apparently, what happened was, people were going to the hall and noticed it was really smoky. They can see through the haze, a bunch of smoke billowing out, and they saw a silhouette that looked like either a briefcase or a bag or a book bag or something. Immediately, that scared the living piss out of everybody, and they ran the fuck out. They're like, oh my god, there's some fucking IEDs, and somebody's gonna fucking blow this shit up. So the police got called, sheriffs got called, EOD got called. EOD went in there, checked it out, and they're like, there is no trace of any explosives whatsoever. Turns out, this smoke's coming from 2 marine flares that somebody apparently fucking lit off, threw it down the fucking hallway, and thought, hey, it'd be funny if I can hotbox this shit and fucking roll the fuck out. Fucking idiots. I need to get a shirt with that catchphrase.
You do. We need to, make it the Raj and Rich show. The R&R show. Fucking idiots. On the shirts.
Yes.
But I get shenanigans. Okay, we've all taken part in shenanigans at some point in our life. We've all pulled a prank.
I've dick slapped a dude with another dude's dick, but I'm not gonna fucking throw 2 marine flares in the fucking hallway of a fucking JC fucking Penny.
Hell no, because you know how many felonies come out of that? Seriously, I'll do shit that you really shouldn't do, but it's not that harmful. It's kind of funny, but a pain in the ass to some people. But not to that level. I'm just in my head. I think I've already counted 11 felonies.
Yes.
Okay, right there. People are getting stupid with their "I want to be an asshat to society" shenanigans.
I'm an asshat.
But not to society, just to a select few people.
Amtgard's a society.
Not really. It's a
society of idiots.
No, it's not. Well, not all idiots.
No, not all, just most.
But a marine setting on marine flares in a hallway. I'm pretty sure I would have sat back and been like, it was kind of fucking funny when you think about it. But people could have gotten hurt.
Yes. And
the chaos that ensued, people running out of the store in mass panic.
Yeah.
Somebody could have gotten trampled and killed. Yeah. Lots of different things, and been left alone. It's just a lot of crap happened, and first Tide Pod challenges. Now we're setting off flares in malls.
Damn, I still need to do the Tide Pod challenge too.
Can I just go ahead and blow your head off now?
I got my gun over there.
No.
Apparently, because of the Tide Pod challenge, somebody made what's called the Tide Pod shot.
Let me guess, you break the packet open in a shot glass and just shoot it?
No, it's an actual shot with actual alcohol that looks like a Tide Pod layered.
Oh, well, that's nothing. There's a company that made gummies that look exactly like Tide Pods.
Huh.
And I was thinking about buying a case of those so we could sit here online and go, hey, look, we're going to do it too.
It's just like taking vanilla pudding, putting it into a mayonnaise jar, and eating it that way too.
That is taking it to a whole level of fucking disgusting that I didn't even think about.
I've done it.
Yeah, no, Bacon, I've seen that too. Is the guy smoking the Tide Pod. That's how this shit started. I think it was. The dude was smoking it. And then it became a thing. Then it became a thing to turn around and then start biting into him. I still stand behind what I said last week. If you're gonna do it, if you are older than 2, and that's the level of common sense you're gonna display, maybe society is a lot better without you.
I'll do it.
Stop. Jeez. But yeah, so no, yeah, like I say, Marine flares in the mall, that's not fun shenanigans.
These people who are going to be voting for the first time in 2020.
I know. Hey, at least when they vote somebody stupid, we can now look at it and go, you ate the Tide Pod challenge, didn't you?
Probably.
You ate the Tide Pod. It's better. It's better. Hey, look, each generation has that moment where, you know, when I was a kid, it was you ate the lead paint. You were eating the lead paint, the lead paint chips. Now we got you ate the Tide Pods. That's going to be the new thing, because I mean you can't get lead paint anymore, so we can't use that anymore. That shit's gone.
Right.
You know, when my dad was a kid, it was like you ate the asbestos. You know, then it was the lead paint. What the hell was the 90s?
Lawn darts.
Oh yeah, you got struck in the head with lawn darts, and now where does you ate the Tide Pod, didn't you? Let them do a line of Comet or Ajax. I actually saw somebody post a meme of that Tide Pod challenge, pussy, and it had the Comet powder jug, and it had lines of it.
You know, and it's funny because I thought about it, because that whole thing with the Ajax or the Comet was in Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke.
Cheech and Chong did that shit back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Ooh,
yeah.
Baby roach.
Yeah. So there you go. So don't do that shit.
Yeah. Now moving on to something a little more depressing and a little more serious.
Unfortunately, in the last 2 days, Texas it happened here first. Texas wasn't as big as school right outside of Dallas.
It was in Italy.
And Italy, Texas. Kid walked into the lunchroom and walked up and shot a girl at point blank range.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily enough, and I say luckily enough, and it's fortunate enough, fortunate enough, it didn't turn out to be somebody going on a shooting rampage in the school.
Correct.
They simply went after this girl, targeted her, and shot her.
So the way that it happens...
But she's fine.
Yeah.
Well, she's not fine, but she's alive.
She's alive. So the way this happened was it happened at it happened before 8 o'clock a.m. in the school cafeteria at Italy High School.
Oh, it was 8 a.m.? I thought it was during the lunch hour.
It was
so,
8 a.m.
So breakfast.
It was before 8 a.m.
So it was the breakfast hour at school.
So apparently, you know, with this 16-year-old male, went to the school cafeteria, saw her, pulled out a .380 semi-automatic, and fired into her. Then after that happened, he dropped the gun and ran.
Yeah, .380.
It was .380.
That was a .38.
Nope.
.380. Jesus Christ! What the hell is he doing with a .380? First of all, he's 16 years old, so Dad's missing a firearm.
Yep. So semi-automatic .380, dropped the gun after shooting her and ran. At that point, everybody started running out.
Well, no shit. You're gonna sit around and go, "Oh, you missed."
So apparently, there was a 17-year-old who actually got to school late. She drove up and saw everybody running out.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out exactly what happened, and then she heard exactly who the shooter was. And apparently, she said that this could have been completely avoided because this kid has a history of aggression since the 8th grade. So apparently, this girl in the 8th grade, he made a hit list and she was on it. She brought it up to the vice principal. They suspended him and he was allowed to return. And then just recently, a few months ago, he got into an altercation where he got pissed off at one of the teachers, threw scissors at a girl, and smashed a computer into the wall before walking out.
Okay, so obviously he has emotional issues.
He has emotional issues, has anger issues, and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he came to school, and then he did that. But he was arrested without further incident. He was found on the school campus still, trying to hide. So he was arrested, and that was that.
Okay, well, okay, but the whole thing about this could have been prevented.
It could have been prevented.
He had a hit list. Okay, so he had a hit list. Did it say that he was going to shoot the people on the hit list, or did he just have a hit list of people he was going to go after?
A hit list of people he was going to go after.
Okay, so there's no way of knowing this kid was going to escalate to the point of bringing a gun.
And this hit list was made a few years back when he was in the 8th grade.
And he hadn't acted upon it, so every indication saying that, you know, okay, so he just made the list. And so far, all he's done is taken his anger out mostly on inanimate objects.
Yes.
Okay, so there was, and I'm not a psychologist by any means, but you know, yeah, escalation usually starts at a point and continues to escalate and continues escalating until it reaches a finality.
Exactly.
Which evidently this was, but unless you're a psychologist and you're watching this happen, how do you know for a fact that that's the next stage and the de-evolution of this person is to now bring a weapon to school and start trying to kill people?
You never know. I mean, people just snap.
So, I mean, and I'm not trying to argue your point about it could have been prevented. I'm pretty sure it could have been prevented, but when a lot of people use that terminology, it's difficult to say that it could have been prevented. We take, like, the Virginia Tech massacre, for instance. Everyone's like, well, it could have been prevented. How? In the school itself, he never showed any sign that he was just going to walk in one day with a whole bunch of firearms, handguns, and start shooting people in Virginia Tech. Okay? It's the same thing with Columbine. Yeah, they were a little fucked up. Okay? They kept to themselves. But there was no indication that those two were just one day going to show up to Columbine High School and start shooting lots of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, there was not an indication that that was the next stage.
Correct.
Okay, when they went back and looked and investigated it later and saw the home videos they had made, then it was very obvious that that was going to be the next evolution.
Yeah.
However, there was no immediate signs in the immediate future that this was going to be the next step for them.
Yeah.
And the same thing with this kid. I'm pretty sure most people didn't think this was the next level.
No.
Okay.
But, you know, there could have been a lot more safety precautions made on behalf of the parent who owned the firearm.
Well, I want to know is, every school that I deliver to, with the exception of, I think, 2, in order to get into the school, you have to pass by security. Mm-hmm. If you are a kid with issues, which I've watched a couple of times that kids have come into the school, and they're problem children, and they get checked. This guy was obviously a problem child.
Yeah. Well,
so why wasn't he like a lot of other Texas schools, checked as he was every day when he entered to make sure that he didn't come in with implements of mass destruction?
Well, also Italy is a city that's only about 2,000.
I delivered to a high school outside of Austin that they've got, I think, 300 people in the high school, and they have metal detectors and an actual cop. I mean, they are part of ISD, I will say this much, but still, there's hardly any kids in this school, and they still have metal detectors and everything else. What I don't understand is, why doesn't every school, with all this happening, why does not every school have metal detectors? Why does not every school have on-duty law enforcement officers in every single school? I mean, and you know what it comes down to? Budgets. Yeah. But you look at ISD. ISD just got a $15 million, or what is it? No, it was $150 million budget or loan for, or actual grant from the state, and they're closing schools instead of rebuilding or repairing schools that need. They're just going to shut them down and consolidate them. And where's the money going? Well, Austin ISD, AISD. The money's going to the top echelon of the school district. That's where the money's going. Yeah. It's going to the school board. of AISD, it's not going to better it for the children. It's not going there to improve safety for the children. It's going to their football programs and their school boards. That's what it's going to. I already talked to one teacher that's in AISD, and I asked him, so where the hell's all this money going if they're closing schools down? That's less money to be needed to use. Oh, it's going to the school board, and the board for AISD, and it's going to the football programs. It's exactly what it's going to.
So, moving on from this incident.
To leave the state of Texas.
So, we're going to go ahead and go into Kentucky.
Yes. I'm pretty sure most of you, if you watch any news whatsoever, have already heard about this.
Yeah. So, this happened this morning at 8:53 Eastern Standard Time, so 7:53 this morning for us, here in Central Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So, a 15-year-old male went to the school in the morning, into the Commons area. That's where all this started. And started opening fire.
Sometimes he has to explain this because I went to a school district where we literally had 400 kids in 3 buildings.
Yeah.
That was our entire school district. It's made up from 7 towns.
Yeah. So it started in the Commons area of the school, where he went ahead, fired at 2, and then started to open up fire, period. So he went ahead, killed a female right on the spot. A 15-year-old female.
Yeah, she was killed instantly.
Instantly killed. And then the male 15-year-old, who was also shot, was airlifted but later died due to a head injury.
And they've got a couple others that are in severe critical condition.
Yes. So not only did he kill 2, but he also injured another 17.
And we're not sure if that number's raised recently, because when did you last do the research on it?
This was about 6:30 p.m.
Okay, so that number could have changed.
It could have changed.
Basically, what we're saying, folks, is this story is still actually what we consider a living story, and what a living story in the world of journalism or whatever is
that there will be updates constantly.
It's still ongoing.
Yeah. So apparently, 5 of those that were injured, to include the one who was killed in the hospital, were headshots.
So he was trying to kill. It wasn't a situation where he's trying to maim or just shooting randomly.
He was trying to kill.
He was aiming.
He was aiming. But, out of the 5 who were shot in the head, only one of them died, which was the 15-year-old boy. The other 4 are currently either still in surgery or out of surgery, but they are saying that they are going to make it.
But they're still listed severe critical.
Severe critical.
Because anything can happen after the surgery. They can end up dying.
And the doctors,
let's pray for him.
And the lead doctor for all of this, who's over the surgery unit, literally said, he goes, honestly, this is one of those things where it's a tragedy, and we feel extremely horrible for what is going on, but we're also very reluctant and happy with the fact that they got here in time, and medicine has gone so far ahead that we can actually treat them and actually save their lives.
Yeah, because remember, how long ago was it when you got shot in the head, unless you were extremely lucky.
And it went straight through the tunnel.
And and that's why I said, extremely lucky, you died.
Yeah.
And if you didn't die immediately, you died. It maybe took a little bit longer. However, to say on James Pinkerton's point, that boy needs to be dead. No prison for life, death penalty.
Yeah. So with this kid,
won't happen in Kentucky.
No, it won't happen. This happened in Benton, Kentucky,
mm-hmm.
southern tip of Kentucky. So this kid is actually going to be tried as an adult for murder.
Unlike the one in Texas, I heard the report on the news on my way back home,
mm-hmm.
trying him as a juvenile.
Yeah. And it's a little ridiculous.
Yeah. The problem is with the state of Kentucky, Kentucky is not going to give him the death penalty.
Kentucky is not a death penalty state.
No, I thought they were.
No.
Either or, so far, I think only one state has tried a juvenile as an adult for murder and has put him on death row. And what they do is they go to a juvenile detention facility first, because they're not going to execute him as a juvenile. It's not going to happen.
No.
Okay. They go basically to solitary confinement in a juvenile facility until they're old enough to be put into or onto death row in a adult facility.
Which is when they turn 18.
Which is when they turn 18. Then they're transferred from there into an adult facility where there's a death row. And then at that point they go till they're like 60 or 70 before they either decide to execute them or commute them to life.
Yeah.
The problem is we don't really execute that many people in this world anymore. It's not that we've changed with the times and realized it's a better idea. It's just because the criminal justice system has decided to go soft on people. And but then again,
they can make more money on keeping an inmate than giving the penalty.
And the other thing I was going to tell you is, then again, with the advent of technologies we're going on and on, which I don't have a problem with this. Don't think I'm pro execution. If you kill people, you should die too. Okay, but as the advent of technology, like what's going on right now in Williamson County in Texas, okay, Williamson County has been found that they put a lot of motherfuckers away that are innocent, and especially right now we got this guy that they put away for life. They let him back out because they found out that they all fucked up and convicted this guy of supposedly raping this infant at a daycare facility, or at an in-home daycare facility where he was living. But lo and behold, find out that they fucked this up the whole way around. And the thing is he looked very similar to another individual that was at the house, and the child identified him. Well, the detectives didn't go anywhere with it, and he had a bad prosecution. He had a bad attorney who was representing the daycare too, and convinced him to take a deal. That there was no way they were going to find him innocent. Just take a deal to get a lower. Just say you did it, and we'll get a deal out of the deal. Come to find out, the whole thing was just a big fuck up to begin with, and he didn't really do it. So, with the advent of technology, I don't necessarily have a problem with delaying people's executions. You know, until we can exhaust every single avenue possible, make sure we're not about to kill an innocent human being.
Absolutely.
You know, because there's been people on death row been executed, and 20 years later they found out they didn't do it. You know, so. But in Kentucky, no, they're not gonna. No. This kid's not gonna get the death penalty. They're gonna try him as an adult. The problem is, they're gonna say life, but he's a 15-year-old kid. Okay, so you know what they're gonna end up doing? He's gonna serve till he's about 25. And then they're gonna let him go, as long as he doesn't fuck up in prison.
Correct.
They're gonna let him go because he's gonna go to juvenile facility till he turns 18. Then he'll be handed over to the adult correctional facility. But they're gonna let him. But at 25, they're gonna let him go. They really are, and that's what happens because they just had that happen in Colorado.
Yes.
They had a kid that was 15 years old, shot and killed his mom, dad, and like one of his friends. And he was 15 when they convicted him as an adult, and just got out at the age of 25. I mean, as soon as he hit 25, like a week later, they released him. They released him for good behavior. You know, he spent 20 years, or he spent not even that. He spent 10 years incarcerated, killed 4 people, and that's basically what happens. Janet says, I don't think that the teenager should get the death penalty. The kid needs help. And yes, based off of what you said, this kid has problems.
Yes.
Okay, and so yeah, the kid needs help. Obviously something's wrong, and they may need to go back and investigate the family. In the situation with the Columbine shooters, mom and dad weren't fucked up. They had a normal life. They just, something was wired wrong.
Yes.
In the kids. In this situation, it could be a home life thing, because very few 15-year-olds are going to go down this track on their own. Something's going to develop them into that.
Yes.
Some cases it is just a simple case of morbid curiosity on their own that took them down the wrong road. But a lot of times it's not. It can be traced all the way back to the home. Yeah. We pray for the rest, for all the families involved in this, the kids. They're involved. All the kids that weren't shot. Pray for them too. It's pretty fucked up. One day you go to school and then your friends are getting shot and killed. You know, changes your life forever. You know, and we send our prayers out to all of them. On that note, Rich, most of the time the parent will have no idea he was even thinking of anything like this.
Exactly.
Well, they're going to say that. Take the Las Vegas shooter's brother's like, oh, I don't know who's going to do anything. Find out that motherfucker had child pornography on his computer too. Well, so should we talk about? Can we talk about the Vegas shooter? Because that's the end of what we got on the notes.
Yeah.
So Las Vegas this last week, the sheriff of Las Vegas came out with a final report on the Las Vegas shooter. They said this is the final report. Nothing more is going to come of it. Mm-hmm. He, of course, acted on his own. We figured that much out. No affiliation to any organizations. They released information of what was on his laptop. Mm-hmm. He had tons and tons of scouting photos.
Oh, shit.
Of various different places, including the Lollapalooza area. Beaches in Florida that had lots of people on it. They were thinking maybe he might be considering a spring break attack. But they ended the report, and like I said, they determined they still do not believe his wife had anything to do with it, even though, yes, there was reports of her fingerprints on some of the ammunition that they found in the magazines. Mm-hmm. The reason why they asked her about that, she said lots of times when he went to the range, he would ask me to help him load his magazines before he went to the range. So she's like, God knows how many bullets got my fingerprints on them.
Right.
Lord only knows. As far as the Vegas PD is concerned, there is no correlation with her involvement with him in this. They do not believe that she had anything to do with it or any knowledge. Mm-hmm. Because as difficult as it was for them to find the information on the laptop, he kept a lot of things very, very well hidden. And they do believe he even kept it hidden from her.
Damn.
He used to go on these trips all the time. Mm-hmm. According to what they said from her, he would one weekend look at her and say, hey, I'm going to go to Michigan. Well, what's in Michigan? I want to look at some properties to invest in, because he was a real estate. He was a real estate investor.
Yes. He
wasn't a real estate agent or anything like that. He invested in properties. It was one of the ways he made the millions that he had. Yeah. Was real estate. And basically she would say, hey, I'm going to go look at some properties to invest in Michigan, and be gone for a week and then come back. So it was nothing out of the normal. She didn't know while he was there that he was doing scouting to kill lots of people. So they don't believe that she's directly involved. Okay. I will say that the MGM Grand has fired a lot of people.
I bet.
Over this. To the tune of 231 people have been released.
Jesus.
People that I've talked to that have been to Vegas said that the window is still out of the building. There is a sign up in the window that reads out into the open that says Vegas Strong. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure they're going to be changing the name.
Most likely.
I do not believe they're going to keep the same name, because the problem is now anytime you go to Vegas, when you look at the place, that's all you're going to associate
it with. It's synonymous with it.
Even though if you go down to Vegas, people who live in Vegas don't talk about it. Anybody's gone down there and tried to interview people, they're like, well, what do you think about this? They just walk away from you. They don't even talk to you about it. However, they did report that they also found child pornography on a laptop. Jeez. I have a theory about that add-on. Okay.
Besides, he's a sick, twisted individual.
Well, I have a theory about that add-on, and here's my theory about this. Okay. Not saying it's all black helicopters conspiracy shit.
Tinfoil hat wearing motherfuckers.
Not saying that. However, when you think about it. Okay, how many people know who Walt Whitman is? You remember who Walt Whitman is?
Yes.
Who was he?
Wasn't he one of the conspirators for the Kennedy shooting?
No. Walt Whitman is the one who climbed on top of the clock tower.
That's right. The Texas State.
Texas.
Yeah.
You know, University of.
Yeah, the UT clock tower.
Yep, UT clock tower.
Shot like 15 people.
Okay. Every time you look at the clock tower, if you know anything about Walt Whitman, you immediately think about Walt Whitman. Yeah. Okay. You think about the improbability of what he was able to pull off. Mm-hmm. Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah. Kennedy.
Okay. The improbability if he shot a moving target and not only shot the moving target once, did it twice. Fired off 3 shots at a moving target and hit 2 separate targets with all 3 rounds.
Yeah. Did
not miss a single shot.
And it was a bolt action.
Yep. Okay. But you remember that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. But now, this guy in Vegas, nobody's gonna really think about when you add child pornography onto the moniker. Okay, these guys are gonna go down in history, okay, as committing some of the most serious historical, like John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah.
Kennedy. Or, I mean, not Kennedy. Lincoln. Okay. Shit, I forgot what's his name. The shot President Reagan. Said he did it for what's her name? Claimed that was it Jodie Foster? I think he was obsessed with her or something like that. In his dream, she told him to shoot Reagan or something like that.
Was it Jodie Foster or Jane Fonda?
I know on Jane Fonda. I think it was Jodie Foster because Jodie Foster was in movies by then.
That's right.
And he was obsessed with her and said that in his dreams she told him to shoot the president.
Jesus.
That's what he said.
Yeah, Jodie Foster.
Yeah, Jodie Foster. Okay, so these guys will go down as some of the most historical shooters.
God, women are fucking crazy.
But these guys will go down as one of the most historical shooters. Okay, the only thing this guy's going to get credit for is the largest mass shooting by a single individual in the United States. But he's always going to have the moniker of being a sick bastard because he had child pornography.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be Timothy McVeigh, blew up the Oklahoma City federal building.
Yeah.
Okay. Those names are going to be synonymous for doing these things, but they're not tagged into, well, they're sick bastards because they were looking at child pornography. So not a lot of people are going to commit what this guy has done to memory and history because now we've added the sick bastard. Was it John Hinckley? Was it John Hinckley Jr.?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. He was typing it. As soon as he said John Him, I'm like, John Hinckley Jr. They're not going to remember him for being... They're going to remember a sick bastard killed a lot of people that like child pornography. So he's just going to be a sick bastard.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you know, so... And I think that's why they made sure that they mentioned the child pornography, because what else would that add on to the story? What else would that do for the story?
Sensationalism.
It wouldn't do anything to the story. Because we already know he was a sick individual. It
was just demonizing.
He shot a bunch of fucking people and killed a bunch of people from a long distance.
All it is just demonize him even more, because they're like, oh, not only did he kill a shit ton of people from a distance, but he also liked to diddle little kids.
So and the thing is, it goes right along with, remember, his brother immediately on TV right afterwards when they said who it was sitting there going, well, I didn't know my brother was like that. He always kept to himself. We didn't really talk much, but I didn't think he was like that. Lo and behold, when they investigated the brother, found out he had child pornography.
So now they're going to think that he's exactly the same.
They're actually, the FBI's looking into this to see if they were part of a ring.
Kind of like David Garrity.
Exactly. You know, now I remember David Carradine for shit that he had done because, you know, he was good in a lot of movies.
Kill Bill.
You know, but yes, a lot of people now remember David Carradine as a guy who died due to autoerotic asphyxiation. Okay, so unfortunately, when you do things like that, that gets tagged onto your memory. Okay, and I think that was the point behind bringing up the child pornography, was to not give him a legendary status.
Yeah. You
know, as one of the elite people who killed a lot of people or killed specific people. He won't get that moniker, so he's not going to get mentioned in like an episode of Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
Okay? You know, Walt Whitman gets mentioned in Criminal Minds, but he wasn't doing little children.
No.
Okay? Lee Harvey Oswald gets mentioned in Criminal Minds. Didn't do little children. Okay? The only time they ever mention people who have done little children is when they're dealing with when the storyline is a psychopath that's killing little children.
Yeah.
Okay. But they don't even really mention them by name except once. You know, Lee Harvey Oswald, I think, is, besides him and Ted Bundy, are like the two most mentioned people on Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
But then again, Ted Bundy, he got a lot. But, you know, he got executed.
Yes. Yes, he did.
You know, same thing with Timothy McVeigh. Now, Walt Whitman was executed by a Texas State Trooper who made it up to the top. Him and a person in the college.
Yes.
Who had a rifle. They stormed. The cop had the pistol, and the person that was on the college had a shotgun. I watched the whole. They had a whole thing on Netflix about it.
Yes.
You know, and I watched the whole thing, and those two guys went up that tower, went out there, and not knowing where he was at on that tower. And if you've ever seen that tower, there is a lot of places up on that balcony up there that you can hide and not know where they are.
Yeah.
And they basically had to take a chance, and they gunned him down up there. You know, McVeigh was executed. You know, some of them had been executed, you know, because they were caught.
Yes.
But a lot of times in some of these situations, that's not their end game. Their end game is to die.
Yes.
Beforehand. Bundy didn't want to die. In fact, the two prison guards that were involved with when they carried out his execution said he cried like a little bitch the whole way to the electric chair. Cried like a bitch and pleading for mercy the whole way. You know, the Unabomber is in that maximum security facility that's underground in Colorado. That's where they put him.
Yeah.
I watched that. That was on an episode. That was on a series episode of Supermax's.
Okay.
The federal prison that's underground. They can't show you getting to it and going in it. But they are inside, and they show you inside, and they're underground, and it's for a reason.
Yeah. Because
these fuckers get out, and they've got the worst of the criminally insane and the Colorado Underground Supermax.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a reason why that bitch is underground. But yeah, so that's that. So Vegas has wrapped it up. They said there's no more investigation to be done on it. They've done all the investigation they could possibly do. They have handed a bunch of it over to the FBI because the FBI wants to do follow-ups on certain things, especially the child pornography thing, because they want to find out if him and his brother were part of a larger ring of people. There's still the question looming around out there about the laptop missing the hard drive. Because there was a laptop in the hotel room, and the hard drive was mysteriously missing.
Weird.
Well, you don't take a laptop and turn it on without a hard drive on it.
No, you don't. Okay.
So what was the purpose behind the laptop with no hard drive? There was probably a hard drive in it. You know, where did the hard drive go? Did he just chunk it out the window before he shot himself? I mean, what was on it?
11/22/63 is a really good show, Hobby. It's with James Franco. It's about the Kennedy shooting.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and pretty much like it's a whole sci-fi thing, but it's really awesome.
Well, I've watched just about every documentary they have out there on Kennedy's assassination.
Yeah. I do remember Minority Report. It was a pretty good movie.
Well, and the thing is, with the Kennedy assassination, anybody who's any real credibility that's done specials on it have completely disproven that there was another gunman.
Yeah.
The forensics...
The grassy knoll.
The grassy knoll theory. There's another one that there was another shooter in another building.
They're also looking for a lady called who they call the Babushka lady.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because she was an older Russian lady who looked like a Babushka doll. And she had a camera because she was on the other side, which like her point of view, her field of vision would actually, that camera would have caught anything that was in the grassy knoll, but they could never find her.
They could never figure out who she was.
Yeah.
Well, Kilno, there is no magic bullet theory really anymore, because even Mythbusters, I think Mythbusters did it, or Now, it wasn't MythBusters. It was another group that did it, and there were a series of engineers, and they went through every possible scenario.
No, it was MythBusters.
But they figured out that the reason why Kennedy's head snapped the way in the direction it did was because the involuntary muscle shift from the impact is what caused his head to go forward instead of snap backwards.
It's because he was wearing a brace because he had scoliosis.
Well, and among that, he took medication ridiculously for it. In fact, his White House chief of staff, if you ever watch, what is it, 13 hours or so, 13 days, I think is the name of the movie. And it's all about the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah.
You know, they show in the movie him constantly taking medication. And it's because of that, and between the brace and the fact that involuntary muscle reactions to it causing him to slump forward instead of backwards, and that's why everybody thought he was shot from the back instead of the front. And they've all proven every angle possible, and it is very. They had, and there was one I watched. This guy was a U.S. Army sniper, and was able to pull it off.
Yeah,
he was able to do it with They basically made a mock setup with the way the building was and the trajectory and the car moving. He was able to do He was able to pull off what Lee Harvey Oswald did.
Yeah, in 6 seconds.
In 6 seconds, he was able to do it. Same gun, same rounds. He was able to do it all and mimic almost within. I think the only thing was the shot against the first person that was that actually got the bullet. That shot was off by an inch, but the shots on Kennedy itself were dead on.
Yeah,
almost within 3 millimeters of where Kennedy was actually hit by Lee Harvey Oswald. And the response to why it was off only by a couple millimeters, his squeeze, unless he knows exactly how much force he was using to squeeze the trigger, the sniper said if he knew exactly how much force Lee Harvey Oswald, he could have mimicked it 100% accurately.
Yeah, because depending on how hard that you squeeze the trigger, or if depending on finger placement itself, it's either going to go left, right, up, or down.
Yep. He said that's the only difference, because the firearm has been anybody with any kind of authorization, you can look at the firearm. They've had multitudes of ballistics experts over the years completely scan that firearm to see if there was any special modifications that made it able to do.
And no, it was completely stock.
No, it had a different barrel. It wasn't the stock barrel that came on it. It was rifled a little bit more than your standard barrel,
but it probably so it would be more accurate at a longer distance.
It had a hunting barrel. It had a hunting barrel for long distance shooting of game.
That's what it was.
Okay, but like I said, the sniper got an exact duplicate of that firearm down to everything, and like I said, damn near pulled off all 3 shots perfectly.
Yeah. To
match it, so he proved that there didn't need to be a second gunman on the grassy knoll.
No.
Yeah, if we could find the babushka lady and that camera, if the film ever got developed, then you'd have a clean shot of the grassy knoll, a perfect shot of the grassy knoll to see if anybody was over there. And the reason why they said that people heard what sounded like bullets coming from the other place is because they went to that same location and they used a speaker set at the decibel level that the round would have come out of the end of the barrel, what you would have heard, and it sounds like multiple gunshots because the way the sound wave echoes off of or bounces off the buildings.
Yeah.
When the guy was standing down there, he said, yeah, standing down here, it sounded like one sound of a shot. It sounded like there was 5 shots with the echoing. Okay. So that's why a lot of people thought they heard multiple shots, but there wasn't actual multiple shots. It was the echoing of the actual discharge of the firearm, the sound it made going around. Yeah. So there you go. So, you know, but like I said again, that's that deal with Vegas. So that's over. That's done with. We don't really have to cover that any further than that anymore because even Vegas shut it down.
Yeah. So I think that's going to go ahead and do it for us. But before we go ahead and go, we are going to talk to you something about our subscribers.
We did say that at some point in the show we would talk about it.
Yes. So right now we are currently at 45 subscribers because we got one more a little while ago.
Yeah.
So right now we're at 45 subscribers. So we can get another 55, so we can get to 100. 48 subscribers. So if we get another 52. Another 52 subscribers, so we can get 100. Not only are we going to be able to get our own customizable URL,
so that way every time we do the show, and I've got people on Facebook Live, I can tell you, hey, go to www.youtube.com/this.
But also, once we go ahead and hit 100 subscribers, we're also going to go ahead and do another raffle.
We're going to put everybody's name in a hat that we can see. Not the now, if you subscribe, but you put down as secret, your name's not going to get entered.
Yes.
Because we can't see who you are.
We can only see the number of people, but we can't see everybody.
Yeah, so if you marked yourself down as secret, we have no idea.
Yes. So, we're going to put everybody's name into a hat. We're going to do another drawing for a brand new Toyota.
Yes, a brand new Toyota. That's right. We will, hopefully we can deliver it to you in person.
Mm-hmm.
If we can't,
we'll figure something out.
We'll make sure it gets to you. All right? And don't have to worry about taxes or anything like that on it.
Nope.
That's all taken care of.
Even if we had to drive it ourselves to you.
Yes.
We will take care of it.
Yes, absolutely. But like I said, once again, you don't have to worry about taxes. We'll take care of that.
Mm-hmm.
We take care of that. So there you go. So that's it. That's the show.
That's the show. It's been a long one.
Yeah, well, a little over 2 hours.
A little over
That's
2 hours.
about the average.
Just about.
You know,
it's not too
right
bad.
around in there. So, folks, good night, folks. Get yourself some sleep.
On behalf of the Raj and Rich Show, I'm Raj.
I'm Rich.
And that's going to do it for us.
Good night, folks. See you later. Bye. Bye. Get out. Go to bed. Good night.